Whoa, here I am. Yeah, a little blowy, sorry. I should have taken the other camera, but I didn't. So, tough, I guess. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, a couple of videos. Yeah, just watched Greatek's video explaining how to commit suicide and blah, blah, blah. And it's helpful. I mean, the technology has gotten a lot better than since the time the book Final Exit was written. Good. The more people know about it, the better. Let's get it legalized. But this doesn't fix the problem, Greatek. You don't get that, but it really doesn't fix the problem. It's not an obligation of the victims to kill themselves. And even if the procedure becomes, oh damn noise. They always make a noise over there. Really irritating. Like I say, this method is still a little bit complicated. I mean, you do have to use this inert gas. You have to make sure the carbon dioxide you exhale doesn't get too mixed up in the gas, because that'll just make you sick. And you have to try to maybe get some of the carbon monoxide to linger, because that's the stuff that's going to kill you quicker. If you have to wait for oxygen deprivation, that's a little more uncomfortable. So it is not perfect, and it really should be done with the supervision of somebody who knows what they're doing. It's not really the kind of stuff amateurs should be doing. And it's always a difficult thing to face, dying. So you want to trivialize it and mock it? Well, go ahead. That's your prerogative, but it just demonstrates what a low life you are. And I mean low life in the sense that you're like a bug or a slug. You're a nihilist piece of crap that somebody should step on. Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so let's move on to the other subject. Well, let's also remember, kids can't commit suicide, so you still have to put in your 18 years. What else do we want to make the arguments for here? We can make a whole list of how this doesn't do anything for all the natural circumstances, doesn't fix nature's disregard for the welfare of sentient creatures. So this is really useless mush. But anyway, it's good that people talk about suicide. The more videos on suicide, the better, I say. So bravo for that. All right, anyway. So to Anekantavad, snake guy, Spider-Man, Smiling Andy, not Smiling Joe. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so his last video, he's running away from desire as even being a concept. He says why. He uses that word, like why do things do things? And he doesn't think the excuse that they're seeking satisfaction of a desire is somehow too incomplete, and that somehow their motivation is more complicated. And he talks like there's an unanswered question about where we derive these desires from. It's just such pseudoscience. So this is, again, atheists defending a guy who's talking a mushy, ambiguous, weird science that doesn't explicitly use terms like natural selection. We know how genes are formed and why they exist the way they exist. We know it's quite a predictable function of evolution. Quite predictable function. So it's not mysterious or confusing. It's completely predictable that DNA molecules would form that had constituents that obliged the mechanism of the DNA, the realization of the DNA in the real world, to have a desire to eat and to have sex, consumption and reproduction. Yes, those two components are very necessary to the survival of the molecule, the replication of the molecule, and that's what the molecule requires that to exist in the future. That's right, it can't get to the future without those components, so those components will exist. Duh. So that's completely resolved scientific fact. No mystery there. No mystery why it exists as a function. Now, how it manifests in the organisms, in some organisms it's completely a reflexive reaction. Certain chemicals in the water create a reaction pollen is released, for example, some kind of crap like that. Completely reflexive in the sense that it doesn't go through any complex neurology. Obviously, our neurology is also reflexive, but the reflexes are on a scale of millions of connective, whiz-bangy dominoes that have to flip, where in other natural organisms there's only 3 or 4 dominoes that have to flip, and the process of reproduction will take place. The formation of a seed will proceed. The seed will burst from the pod. So yeah, you don't need any mechanism of psychology. Now we know what psychology is. That's what sentient creatures have. More complex organisms. They have more complex reflexes, and in the ones that are capable of learning, they have incentives created into them. Incentives that create conditioning, so that associations are made that modify their desire mechanisms. That's why some people like women with big fat asses and little tiny brains, wink wink, and other people like women with big brains and not a big fat ass. Yeah. So that's the way it works. It's because they are individually conditioned by their life experience to optimize their performance as a consumer and a reproducer. This is, again, another mechanism that exists because of natural selection. All right? That's how you make better gladiators. In the war, that's what's worked. Obviously, what this crayfish was doing didn't work because he's dead. Yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah. So that's why the mechanism exists. Now, his argument is somehow that it's not about sex. Well, that's all the DNA molecule had to make it about another creature that has a failed function. Failed function here. Don't know what exactly failed for him, but a little baby squirrel here, and it's depressing as hell. Anyway, yeah, that didn't work. That won't get into the future. That DNA molecule isn't going to make it. No, it's not going to reproduce. That's natural selection. That's the game we're playing. Natural selection. Now, when it was alive, has a complex neurology. It has a psychology, and it's designed to consume and to reproduce. But the reproduction has been broken down into a simple process. That is fertilization of an egg. There's no need to make kids the objective. All there is a need to make fertilization of an egg the objective. And the fertilization of an egg can be broken down even further into this interaction between the male and the female, and the necessary activity to make the exchange of genetic material. And so that is pretty much just sex. And so that's what the animal's rewarded for. Now, you can't figure this out. You can't figure out the evolution of sentient mammals. You can't see the progression of them. Then it's much like your own maturation as a child. You did things as a child you didn't understand. You acted on instinct and emotion and reflex that was pretty crude. You can't see that that's basically what an animal's doing. Well, then I'd say you're pretty dumb. The risk-reward, punishment-reward that's built into our functionality. You think the cat feels an orgasm? I think it's quite obvious that he does. And the reason why he does is because he's learning to enjoy this behavior, which will make him more capable, more likely to engage in it again. Learn from experience, this is the kind of thing I want to be doing. And he'll do it again. And might even fight for it even harder next time. Might even rip another male's head off to get it. Because he'll know how good it is. How good it's going to feel. And he'll be chasing that reward. But that's how we're conditioned to want. That's how we're conditioned to be hungry for a particular thing, is through this satisfaction mechanism, this conditioning of your psychology through pain and pleasure, through reward and punishment. And it's just another level of complexity, but it's certainly an understandable complexity. We can dissect our psychology, we can understand the mechanisms, and we can certainly see the parallel in these mechanisms in all these other mammals, and they don't have to have any complex understanding of whys and all this other stuff to be compelled by very similar desires that compel us. We sometimes get horny and we act on it. We get hungry and we act on it. And we act on it in a manner that we have learned to be likely to produce satisfaction or gratification. Obviously we are challenged by a huge labyrinth of extra added complexity of social nuance, ego rewards, and all of that, just as animals face the nuance of life and death struggle with competitors and all of that. So, to claim there's some mystery here is just nonsense. To attempt to unravel a concept as simple, a psychological concept as simple as desire, is nonsense. Like it's somehow mysterious or unknown, or we can't figure out why it exists or what it is. No, it's quite easy to see how natural selection over millions of years has duped sentient creatures into desiring things, that have consequences for which they are detached or have no control over once they're initiated. That the end is not the means for the organism. The organism ends are much shorter of sight than the ends the DNA molecule has rewarded. The DNA molecule is essentially rewarding me getting all the way to the end of this path, where my psychology compels me one step at a time, 10 feet at a time, to march these steps. I'm not thinking about where I'm going, I'm just going. And we can understand that difference. Not complicated. Just some more fraud, pseudoscience now, some more pseudoscience to throw in the mix of this desperation to run away from a simple argument, keep calling it a rabbit hole. No, it's just the most logical thing in the world is to question our existence. Smart men started doing it 2,000 years ago, and a bunch of ignorant men, religious kooks, killed them and told the world what they're going to believe and bashed them over the head with ignorant books. And so now, 2,000 years later, we can start thinking again because we've shoved a sock in the mouth of the religious kooks. And so we're having the conversation we should have had 2,000 years ago. We still probably couldn't have taken it to any kind of complete level, but who knows? I mean, maybe 2,000 years ago they could have figured out evolution. Maybe they could have. I think they needed a little more science to get there, and maybe that science would have come a lot sooner. Darwin might have been 500 years sooner. But yeah, that's it. And you're going to keep talking like there's something tangly, wangly, weird about this. No, it's really simple stuff. And you can make the whole game out of a little bit of Darwin and a little bit of Freud and a little bit of Dawkins maybe, and the game's over. We can dissect this pig and we can figure out what it does and why it does it and how it works, and the fact that all it does is clean up the messes it makes. That's the only function for our intelligence, is to clean up the mess that our sentient character makes, to be a subservient bitch to our desires, which in turn just makes our intelligence a bitch to a DNA molecule. You wish to be owned by a DNA molecule, to be part of a Borg that just does as you're told by the king molecule. Suit yourself. I, with some pride, will announce my independence from ownership by the molecule, and will make a fair, logical judgment regarding the rationality of perpetuating these stupid gladiator wars for no purpose. So suffocate on a dead squirrel, or slip on a dead crayfish. Take your choice, you piece of shit. But you're evil, you're a liar, you're a propagandist, and you're a pseudoscientist. You're selling snake oil to ignorant people, to placate selfish desire, and it just makes you evil. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. You suck. There's a living squirrel. Anyway, so fuck you and such. Whoa, here I am again. Yeah, I don't know where I'll add this on to. Yeah, just don't know. Don't know where I'll go with this one. Yeah, just this is kind of disappointing. You know, days are getting shorter, so it really kind of sucks. Yeah, there's some sun, but yeah, it doesn't really last too long. Yeah, getting cool there too. It was cool tonight, but whatever. Not your problem. Having a cigarette. Good stuff. I miss them horribly. You know, I don't know. I'm right in between now. Just like, yeah, okay, I gotta really give up the nicotine juice soon. Get free of this bullshit. Anyway, at least I'm thinking that way. I don't think I'll. Who knows? We'll see. Alright, yeah, point. Yeah, well, anyway, you know, Spider-Man guy again. Acronid guy. You know, this whole moral judgment, he calls it, this being judgmental, as if you're being judgmental for the sake of being judgmental. I mean, we sort of made the analogy. There's some of us human beings who have experienced life and found it to be wanting, you know, not good enough, not sufficient. And then we look around at the world and we see people in even worse circumstances than our own and are just horrified by that prospect. Then we look a little further and we see animals in circumstances, you know, we would give up everything we have to avoid. And we know that us not experiencing it doesn't make it go away. Okay, it exists and it's just as real as our experience of this life thing. And so this idea that, well, it's happening to that thing doesn't really work logically. It doesn't matter what thing it's happening to. All that matters is the happenings. And we have to fix the happenings. Fixing our own happening, our own event, resolving it, whether by disposing of ourselves or taking the proper psychiatric drug or whatever to make us numb to it, to make it benign to our sensibilities. Regardless, it wouldn't matter. That's not going to fix the problem. So automatically the problem is one of not passing judgment for the sake of passing judgment. The problem is that problem is our problem. And this is the way it is. We can't avoid that. We are logically understand that if we let the wheels crush something, we might as well let them crush us. That there's no point in not fixing it. We can't escape the need for it to be repaired, not us. The problem doesn't exist in us. The problem exists in it. So this idea of, you know, judgment for the sake of it is just nonsense. There's a practical self-interest that I can't avoid. It's rational interest. It's a connection that's unbreakable. between the realization of my welfare and the realization that these other welfares are in jeopardy if I do nothing. I've said this before, but I'm here because no one stopped me from being here. All right, so there needs to be people willing to stop things from happening, or they will continue to happen. Duh. So you want to call that some sort of, draconian tyranny? Well, go ahead. The bottom line is you have to do something with the fundamental argument that states there is an interest in need of fixing. There's a problem in need of resolving. And you're not doing anything to that fundamental argument except saying it is what it is. And that's not an argument. So you got to do better than that. How you doing? So what's the point of that? It is what it is. I can't do anything with that. No, it is what we allow it to be. That's the bottom line. Bet it went out. Always does around here. Not much left on it either. Damn. Would have been nice just to finish it off. But whatever. Alright, I gotta go for a run. It's cool. Well, it's cold even. Well, something ate the crayfish. Let's see if something ate the dead squirrel. Oh, it's just so... Where the hell was he? Dead squirrel. Yeah, I'm sure a dog got him by now. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm semi-suspect. Oh, no, there he is. Oh, somebody ate his head. No, he's still there. Poor little fella. Looks like he's sleeping. He's awful cute. Yes, you are. You're awful cute. Herbert. Herbert. Anyway, what can I say? I don't want to be a dead squirrel forever. Can I say that? It's going to be dead squirrels forever if no one stops dead squirrels from existing. And so I'm going to try to stop it. I'm going to make rational arguments. You want to keep saying, you want to keep maligning those arguments with basically ad hominem attacks on the people who possess those belief systems. You're entitled, but I'm going to say you suck. And I will use the same tactics against you and imply all the malicious, whatever door you open to cheap attack, I will throw the mud back through that door. How about that? Yeah, that's the way we'll metaphor it. So, fuck you, fella. Your argument sucks. You're a petty, lying weasel of a human being, and man, you're kind of like the test for real intellectuals. Real smart people will see what you're doing, how you're perverting the argument and cheating the argument, and dumbasses, you'll fool them. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. So at least we'll see how many people you can fool some of the time. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, till next time. And such and so forth and whatnot. Yeah. Oh, some kind of road race here. A bunch of people running on my path. There they. It's probably some laggers down here. Just the other ones walking. Anyway, something struck my eyes. Yeah, it was kind of nice actually. Yeah, it's a little cool. Anyway, I tried the old camera throwing in there. Oh boy, that was a good one. Yeah, I thought I was gonna miss it. Yeah, reflex is a little slow. Anyway, yeah, judgment, ethics. What the fuck? I mean, this whole conversation in a way is so stupid. I mean, really, if you took a piece of paper and tried to draw a picture of life, you know, on a piece of paper, and you didn't get caught up in the aesthetic stuff, you know, pretty sunset, fluffy rabbit, dead squirrel. Oh, that's right, you could do that part. I mean, just the mechanism, just the idea of it, you know, matter growing into these weird, preposterous shapes. Wow, these are the real small ones. How you doing? Yeah, I don't know. They're way behind. They're gonna lose. Yeah, losers. Losers. Anyway, maybe they started later. Yeah, to get back on. More on coming. Anyway, yeah, you know, there's nothing here. It's just silly. It's just silly. It's if it was on another planet, bopping around, you know, eating itself, you know, just so it can wiggle its tentacles in the air. I mean, that's all we're doing, you know, as a practical sense. We're just, you eat a bunch of stuff, you wiggle your tentacles in the air, get a little sunlight, metabolize the thing you killed and ate, you know, slunk down to the mud, bury yourself for the night, you know, just so you could wake up and do the same old routine tomorrow. And then eventually you do some ritualistic, you know, bizarre upside down tentacly thing, you know, and you replicate and then you die. I mean, or you get eaten by a shark while you're replicating or dying. Well, you know, whatever the other planet version of a shark is, a giant suck monster. Yeah, it's got a big suck on it and just sucks things into it. Big funnel monster. Just funnels everything in. Little pushy hands in front. Just pushes shit into the funnel. What else? Hey. Must be some sort of whatever, some sort of cop-sponsored run or something. Bicycle in the front and bicycle in the behind. I guess that's how it works. Well, that one kid is way behind. He's way behind even two nerdy kids. I wonder why. He didn't look like he was running that slow. Asthma, maybe. Yeah, way behind the girls even. Girls are beating them. It's kind of humiliating to be last. Probably humiliating. Anyway, I wouldn't know. Coming last in a frickin' race. Came in last in spelling bees. Yeah, that was depressing. It wasn't depressing, it was humiliating. Thoroughly humiliating. Yeah, I was always out first. And they would cheat. They would actually cheat and give me an easy word, like they. And I'd spell it T-H-A-Y. You know, it was always something like that, right? I'd always spell it, or E-Y. Well, see, I can't even remember. I would spell it like T-H-I-E-Y. Doesn't matter. I would spell it wrong, and I would lose. Then the good news is I got to sit down, and I didn't have to play anymore, which is good. But I did just make you feel like, oh, he didn't even just lose. He lost even when we gave him a head start. Oh, that was really bad. But I was charming and cute. Ooh, somebody almost run him over. A bicycle almost run him over. The squirrel! The squirrel! I should bury him, but what's the difference? I can't bury all the dead squirrels. I'm tired of cleaning this shit up. I've buried so many animals, so many, hundreds of animals, hundreds. I'm just so sick of it. Anyway, that is besides the point. So what else? Yeah, so anyway, whatever, just go ahead, make your arguments, tell me that life is really cool and special and super. Go ahead, spew your promotional 30-second philosophical blobs of bilge, about how it's all doing something so neato. Yeah, quality deer management area. It's a quality deer management area. They're not managing the deers. The deers are managing the forest. And the humans are doing what they usually do, which is nothing fucking useful. Let's kill some of them. Let's poke them with arrows. Make them bleed out. It'll be fun. Yeah, very effective. Not. Oh, I mean, really. Why am I even talking? There's just no point in talking. I gotta come up with a plan, a do plan. Dig a hole to the center of the earth and let all the gas out, and the planet will sink in the universal ocean or something. Yeah, all the air will go out. If I dig a hole deep enough, all the air will get out, and the planet will deflate, and what will happen to the people? Oh, yeah, people all float into space. That's it. Okay, good. That'll solve the problem. Yeah, the anti-gravity gas. If it's gravity gas, it's full of gravity gas. If I let the gravity gas out, then there won't be any gravity, and all the people will go flying right off the edge of the earth. Well, their respective edges. Something like that. Alright, that's enough of a video. Oh, chilly. Nervy. Creepy. Crickets creeping me out. Yeah, they are. Anyway. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, can't do it. Alright, I'll try it tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll try to relax. Stuff to do tomorrow. Alright. I think I'm just gonna panic. I think I'll do that. I'll just panic. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to hit the button. Alright, a little quiet moment. Slow down. A little quiet moment. Quiet. Chirp, chirp, chirpity chirp. Okay, there you go. Until next time.